Welcome to episode 13 of the Viking Voices podcast. I'm here with my good friend and teammate, Judson Seliskar. Judson, thank you for being on the podcast.
How's it going, guys? Thank you. Thanks for having me, Babs. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you know what? Baseball season's right around the corner. Well, we got started in Mitchell, South Dakota. We took 2 from Dakota Wesleyan, but the good stuff, the meat and potatoes, is right around the corner. We got a few trips upcoming, so thought it'd be a good time to bring you on. Obviously, we've known each other since freshman year, since day one. Yep. Same suite, and we've had some good memories.
Oh yeah,
we've grown up here together.
I know exactly.
For the people that don't know you, I know you're a recognizable face on campus, but where are you from? What do you do here on campus? And tell us about yourself a little bit.
So personally, my name is Judson Seliskar. I'm from Helena, Montana. Size around 60 to 70,000. So a lot bigger. Yeah, the capital of Montana. Yes, a lot bigger than Valley. Graduated with a class around 300 kids. Played football, basketball, did a little bit of track too. That was more of a side hobby, not really a sport kind of thing. Kind of help out with football. Played all 4 years of football, 3 years of basketball. What else? So in Montana, we don't have high school baseball. It's all Legion. So that was a route we all had to take, from I'd probably say 7th, 8th grade is when you kind of start to feed into that program and working out with those coaches, getting familiar with those faces. But yeah, Montana's God's country for sure. That's what they all say. Miss the mountains for sure. You don't get a lot of that out here, but learn to love it. Love it.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. You talk about no high school ball. That's kind of how I grew up too. There was no affiliated high school ball. Some schools would have the academy or whatnot, but you didn't go play games. But I was the same way as you. You go play in the summer. There's really nothing year-round. Did you have any winter ball? Like, did you have any indoor ball or that wasn't affiliated with a school, or was it just summer?
I mean, the only thing that I ever really did was in the summer. Fall I was busy with football.
Right.
Over the summer, I would still do morning workouts, even with the high school. And then, it's pretty much just straight to the yard, whether you got practice, games that day. Winters, we never really had like a facility. Mm-hmm. So we would kind of just have to pick and choose, like, oh, where are we going tonight? Where are we going tomorrow? Just recently, I was working out at this place this winter. They just opened, a guy from Kansas City, which I think he's going to do really well. Great guys down there. Business is really going to be something where people look into for that aspect, I think. And they also just partnered with one of the newer high schools in East Helena, too.
Right on.
So.
And that's like an indoor turf?
Yeah, full indoor turf. They have 2 full weight racks for weight room. Got all like the plyometric stuff, all the plyo walls and stuff for pitchers, machines. I know hit tracks is something that we just got.
Yep.
I know he said that it's something in the work for sure. Definitely something to look forward to for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Those turf field houses, I know we're about to get one. We're gonna leave before it happens, obviously, but yeah, those are really important, not only for baseball, but baseball is one of the probably, I don't know if you agree with me on this, one of the hardest sports to practice indoors.
Yes.
Just because the visuals are different, you see it different, but having that ability for a turf field house, we had that access back at home, but obviously even the Gratian gym, it does us wonders. The 2 hit tracks machines, we're about to go compete on them tonight, right? It's like you can simulate a game on it.
Right. It's about as close as some could say they want, but nothing ever is going to compare about game situations. You just got to go out there and play ball at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what we did this week.
Yeah.
So let's talk a bit more about school side. What's your major? I know you have some plans after school. We'll get to those later, but right now, what are you studying at Valley City State University?
So my major is within business administration. My concentration is accounting and finance, and I also have a minor in marketing. That's more my bachelor's side. I have nothing bad to say about the business department here. Nothing but great stuff. When I came in, Brenda Tyre was here. And now she furthered her career more onto NDSU now. So, nothing but great professors. What you're getting here is a education. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, definitely we miss Professor Tyre
Yes.
here. She was my advisor for a couple of years. I
Yep.
think actually she was yours,
Yes.
and yeah, she took the opportunity, and of course, like she was one of the smartest I mean, she was an accounting wizard. We used to
Right.
call her that. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, no, absolutely phenomenal business department here, and
Yes.
we're in a lot of the same classes. We about the
Yeah.
same major. You got the extra minor, but yeah, we've
Definitely
kind of
seen each other in the classroom
yeah,
a couple times.
absolutely,
For sure. Yeah.
and same with this semester.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go into obviously we kind of went through your high school baseball career, but let's talk about recruiting, kind of the process. I know obviously back then it was Casey Only, Callan Faulkner that were here. We
Yeah.
were recruited the same class. How did your recruiting journey kind of go? For maybe people that are listening to this podcast that are baseball, our football, our basketball hopefuls that are looking to get to VCSU to play these sports.
I'd say the biggest thing throughout my whole recruiting process, I left my options in mind more open than I think a lot of kids are tending to do now. You see a lot of kids that are really only trying to stick with one sport, and that's, say, even when they're in 8th grade before they even get to high school. I know every coach that I talked to, whether if it was for football or baseball, I mean, they were more than excited to hear that I played more than one sport in high school. And I know that's not the same for everybody, but I mean, Montana, we're not huge, more smaller schools. But I mean, everybody really knows everybody around the state. I'd say for football, it was a lot easier for me to get recruited. Montana's a more renowned known football than baseball for sure.
That's right.
So I had a lot of ins with, our local school, Carroll College. Great. I mean, those coaches there, I still talk to. Tech to, just a lot of the frontier schools that Valley is going to soon join.
That's right.
I have a lot of friendships, friends that are still playing football for a lot of those schools. Nothing but great stuff. I mean, VCSU is going in the right direction for sure with that whole joining. But yeah, I think the biggest thing for me was not like of course, you got to narrow it down to a couple towards the end, but I didn't really want to commit right away. And that was a lot of some coaches were okay with that, but a lot of coaches, you kind of feel like, oh, okay, maybe I am kind of feeling rushed. But I mean, it all worked out for me in the end. And whether it was football or it wasn't football, it ended up being baseball.
Right.
So I guess more towards the baseball route. That was pretty much my dad, actually, filming all my games, making sure that I had that kind of stuff to put out there to the public, because I wasn't playing fall baseball.
Right.
Like those guys traveling to Arizona, Denver, getting around more collegiate coaches. Getting looks,
of course,
for sure. And, winning, going to state, going to the championship my junior year, I wasn't really an active starter on that team a whole bunch, but had my days for sure. And then senior year, when we kind of pulled that trophy back to Helena, that was huge for me in my recruiting process, getting thrown in state tournament. And I mean, you seeing your name on the front page and you're like, wow, this is cool stuff.
Right.
I'm not saying that downed it or knocked it at all. It was definitely a huge help. But yeah, I think just, not closing off contact too. Say somebody from a school you've never heard of.
Right.
Or somewhere you think day one they text you and you're like, oh, I don't want to go there. It's like, well, maybe you don't know yet.
Right.
I certainly had a lot of those, and I give thanks to my parents, for stick with it, give them another chance. I mean, I'm a firm believer in everybody gets a second chance.
Right.
And so I'm not going to sit here and be like, I'm not going to go to your school just because I don't like the response you're giving me.
Right.
Or how you reached out. A lot of the things that definitely got closer to me, because I did get to come to a visit here. I did get to meet Cal and CO, some of the post players who, I ended up playing with too. I mean, it was great. I know my dad can say too, because he was here with me. He's like, when I got here, and I was just like, yeah, I mean, just seems right. It definitely just seemed right. Small enough, an opportunity to play at the next level.
Right.
I just thank God every day. It's been it's been a delightful journey for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, it's a fun journey, and I've been glad to be a part of it. Obviously, meeting you, coming from a place so far away. You talk about Montana, obviously next state over. You're still a good a 10, 11.
Yeah,
That's
10
a
plus.
drive.
Yeah, no, it's a haul for sure.
Right,
Yeah.
and when you're so far from home, right, it's cool who you meet here, and yeah. I never got the chance to visit, but it was certainly as soon as I got on campus, right fit, and
Yeah.
met you maybe a couple days later,
Right.
obviously, and yeah, no, it's fun stuff. So, you talk about the recruiting, great advice. I completely agree with you on keeping your options open. A lot of, you can have your targets, you can have your this, but for me personally, it was kind of the same where it's like, I had my eyes set over here, and Valley City State was over here, and look where we ended up. And,
Right.
I've been, really thankful to have this opportunity. I think you said it really well there, Judd. And, yeah, let's dive in now to, you're recruited. Now you're on campus.
Yep.
Let's talk about, I do want to talk about the first game. We're playing Jamestown. We were up for it. You go in as a defensive replacement. I think it was in the 7th or 8th inning. Tell me about that.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Getting thrown in the fire, some would say. First game, first chance. If I remember, I think it was a pretty close game.
Yeah, we were tight.
When
we were up by
Feller
1.
had to come in and close.
Davey did.
Okay. So I don't know what maybe Feller was DH.
Feller might have pitched.
Okay. Feller might have.
Davey came in to close because he was our closer that year.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no. I mean, as you can tell, it's definitely been 4 years since then.
Yeah.
But it was. I mean, nothing more exciting than to be on like your first collegiate win of a full squad. I mean, against your rival Jamestown, man. I mean, you as a freshman, I didn't really know much about the rivalry yet, but I mean, you show up for BP and you're like, oh, why does everybody look at these guys like that? I never really had bad blood like that with rivals in baseball. I mean, sure, with football, like you always want to be
big
your
time, yeah,
crosstown rival, but no, nothing like this with baseball, and that was definitely exciting for sure. Really nervous though.
Yes.
Coming in and you're like, oh, okay, haven't really seen these guys throw across the diamond that much, but we got it done, made it happen. Got the team win for sure. No, that was big.
That was big. First college game, first college win, and it was a fun one to be a part of it. And I had Corey Anderson was on the podcast a while ago, and he said that first game, the ball's a little firmer, the pace of play is just it's a lot different, and I think we've settled into it nicely. Obviously, you had a good start this past week, got your first hit of the year pretty quick, so it goes by quick. We were just talking about it. You know what? You're a freshman, and soon you're getting ready to graduate.
Right.
So, let's keep diving into the baseball career. Obviously, 3.5 years you and I both been here, so we probably share a lot of the same memories. But just kind of tell it from your perspective. You can go freshman, sophomore, junior, in chronological order, just how the experience has been and, what you've learned from it, what you've enjoyed from it, some of your favorite memories. And, the floor is yours.
Boy, where do I start? So freshman spring, I think getting to play at US Bank was definitely something that I took for granted. That whole experience, I mean, everything that we got to go through. I mean, you're playing at an NFL stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you think back at it now, and you're like, why aren't we still doing that? I mean, just the cost of that and everything. I'm not saying it's out of reach, but, it's definitely not where it was. I think that is where I got my first collegiate hit, too.
Really?
Double off the wall, I
right
think.
On. I do remember that. And do you remember their home run? So you have left field. Obviously, left field, you hit it into the seats. We saw a couple guys do that. But right field, the line there, if it was below, it was a double. Above was a home run. So it was off that wall?
It was off that wall,
gosh. Perfect spot to get your first hit.
I know it. If that fence was a little lower, maybe my first hit would have been a home run, but that would have been something special. No. I know I had 2 strikes for sure. I was battling a little bit. Just put the barrel out there and let the ball do the work.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I can safely say that throughout my whole career. It's been, when you get back, maybe get a little too relaxed or too content, trying to do a little too much. But I think when I find like my biggest success and most success on the field, I mean, throughout the past 3 years, you ride the peaks and valleys. I mean,
certainly.
A lot say baseball is like the game of life, man. Nothing's ever given to you. You got to earn it all. and definitely blessed with the number of opportunities I've had. Yeah, I think the one I can always go back to is sophomore year.
I know what you're
when
going to
we're
say.
playing presentation.
Yep.
And I was second to last, or maybe I was the third or fourth. I can't remember if I was the third or fourth in a row. But we went back to back to back to back home runs.
Yep.
And that was something special for sure. Because like me sitting there in the box, I'm not trying to hit a home run, but as soon as I hit it, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's the fourth one in a row.
Yep. Yeah.
And I just remember everybody in the dugout coming out. I mean, those are just memories that you can hold on forever for sure.
Absolutely.
2 home runs in Viterbo the week before or after. That was kind of my little tear I went on those 2-3 weeks of. That was fun. That was a good time.
Nothing could stay in the park for you.
It was either out of the park or in the gloves, some might say. But no, it was a good time. Good stuff.
Well, you talked back to that presentation, and that was one of the craziest. I think we were down that game, and then our leadoff guy, Adam Thompson, hits a home run. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I hit a home run. Rare for me.
Yeah.
And then who?
Backside, no?
Yeah. And then who? I don't remember who's hitting third, but another one.
It was either Shane or Drew, I think.
Yeah, it might have been Shane. Yeah. And so Shane hits one, then Drew, and then I think Mertz went double off the wall, and then that's when you went back. And just the dugout was louder and louder and louder after every home run. And I remember Carter Dodd got his first collegiate home run that game. He used my bat, so I fell in on it. It was a lot of fun, and those are memories. I remember that series a lot. Sometimes, that sophomore year can, you think back, you look at the record and you're like, wow, that wasn't a good year. But I know for us, I think as a team, we were so close.
Yeah.
We had so much to, appreciate on that team. Even though the wins weren't coming, we had a lot to appreciate for sure. Yeah. And teams like that and seasons like that, you learn, and we're probably in the place we are today because of those seasons, and you learn to have the mental strength, and you're leaving series 1 win 3 losses, sometimes swept, and it's just like leaves that taste in your mouth. And I think us as seniors now, it's like that taste is in our mouth, and we know what that feels like.
Yeah.
And it's kind of our year to show out and say this is what's going on right now.
Rewrite the passage for future Vikings for sure.
Absolutely. It does feel weird though, being on the older side of the team.
Right.
I think we talk about it a lot. Jaden Shipman, our teammate freshman year, now we're playing with his little brother Grady. So that one is
it's a small world, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, can't get enough of it.
Yeah, and that just goes to show how quick it goes. It feels like I was just on the field with Jaden yesterday, but
it feels like we were just moving into the dorms the other day. Man.
I'm telling you, I remember. We shook hands in that hallway. It was a good time, and you don't realize how it's going to develop from there. And now your house is 2 blocks away from mine.
No kidding.
We're we're hanging out every weekend. Going on with more baseball here. That's what we're here to do, obviously. What are some of your? We're going to break this up into two segments. Favorite place that we've traveled outside the conference, so no conference, like, your Dakota State. We'll include Viterbo and Waldorf since they were in the conference. And presentation. Favorite place we've traveled outside the conference?
Outside the conference. I bring up US Bank.
I like that pick, by the way.
Freshman year was the only year we went, right?
Yes.
And it was the last year. VCSU's kind of been a part of that. I think the amount of guys we were able to bring on that whole US Bank, spring break Arizona trip. I don't remember the number, but for some reason it kind of felt large. Maybe it was only 30, 32 guys, but, putting your bag down to get its security checkpointed. I haven't had to do that for a baseball game before. You're kind of getting a little bit of the big league. University of Minnesota uses that as their home stadium until the snow removal. Guys that are playing at that higher level of where we're at now, you kind of get a feel for this is legit. Like we're here to play ball. Getting to watch University of Minnesota and Air Force play right before we go on that field.
That's right.
I think that whole, not just because it was where, I was starting to play, getting mixed in with the rotation, but I think that whole experience of like, okay, I'm here, like I'm playing college ball, and I think definitively, I was here to stay too. So it's also something comes back. You know, you don't really think about it in the moment exactly, but our sophomore year, you know, with a coach leaving and then potential, you know, new candidates coming in, you're out there playing summer ball or whatever you're doing, trying to maybe go somewhere else. But, you know, I never really opened my eyes and options to that extent. You know, there was outreach from wherever and whoever, but, you know, ultimately I was here to get an education. And I didn't really want to put a burden on that or, you know, where credits transfer, things like that. I just had, you know, made my friends here and felt like success would carry over in the longer years. But I think US Bank, I mean, that's got to be number one. And then Florida was pretty sweet, man.
Sweet.
Those turf fields were cool.
Yep.
Yeah. Summer ball, though.
Tap into
summer ball
100%.
Okay,
yes. Okay. Oh, I love this.
So this past summer, I had the opportunity to play for the Rochester Ridgemen.
Okay, you're going to tell me this field, and guess what? I'm going to look it up.
Okay, upstate New York-ish.
Okay, what's it called?
So we're not even close to the cities here. We're in Batavia, New York.
I've never heard of it.
Might not even be New York. Might even be Batavia. So they're in the PG League on the East Coast.
New York State. Yep.
New York State. Batavia. Okay,
yeah.
So look up the Batavia Muck Dogs.
Batavia Mud Dogs?
Muck Dogs.
Muck Dogs? Okay.
I think.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Yep.
And I'm going to see their field. Let's see. That is
and now
nice park.
it's a sneaky park because you show up for BP and you have to walk in the right. Yeah, we walked in the right field foul pole.
This guy, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a nice yard.
And so the clubhouse is in the visitors. We were on first base side. Our clubhouse was all the way down past the right field foul pole. Wow. So I think our pregame meal was Subway or whatever. Get down, you're done doing BP, go into change into your uni, and come back out, put your stuff in the dugout, and you're like, where'd all these people come from? And, you know, you see 2,000-3,000 people there, and you're going there, and the place is a ghost town. You're like, where are all these people coming from?
Yeah.
So, funny story, actually, is it was our manager's. He had coached there the year before, and then he came to coach us this year. So, it was kind of like his return back to Batavia. And, you know, we had to get the win for Skiff. So,
yeah, of course.
Boys went out there, played pretty well. A lot of great pitching performances, what I can remember. It was a really good defensive game too. You know, balls weren't dropping. I mean, it was so deceiving because that yard when you're hitting BPs, like this place is a launch pad. Like everybody's. I mean, you're playing with wood bats, but I mean, dudes are hitting the ball. You know, I think I probably had one like halfway up the light poles, and I was like, wow, this might be a pretty good game. But, you know, that game was probably some of the higher competition we played against. A lot of D1 guys. So, for me, it was, you know, just do your job. And I think, I don't remember the correct stat line. I know I had a couple RBIs. I did have the chance to bat behind a lot of good hitters.
Right.
So, the opportunity for RBIs was very high. For me this summer, you know, batting 4, 5, 6, wherever. I mean, even if I was batting 9, I mean, those guys still had the same opportunities. But that was pretty cool, you know, going in there, being the road dogs, the road dogs, and then coming out with the win, you know, and not the most nicely put words, you know, you're hearing from some of the fans when you're out there, but a little bit of colorful language, but nothing.
That's summer ball, I'll tell you what.
No, it's it was a good time. That was a very good summer, fun summer for sure.
Yeah, and you've played a couple different locations for summer ball, which is really cool. It's, you know, you go to New York, like, you know, I've stuck around, obviously, one league, Western Canada, my home, so, you know, I'm close to home. But you've had some, I mean, you went California one year, New York. You've been on both sides, and I always love a good summer ball story. Summer ball is where it's at. If you have a local summer ball league, You got it. Like, it's $5 maybe to
Yeah.
get in the gate, and
You got to go watch the game,
it's
man.
you see some really good ball. And
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun, and there really are leagues everywhere.
Yep.
You know, Northwoods is around here.
All over.
You talk about the Corn Belt down south.
There's
down
leagues up in
Nebraska.
Alaska. I mean, Florida.
Alaska's one of the best ones.
Alaska is yes.
And then
Very predominant.
Florida is the draft league. Like,
Yep.
there's so many good summer balls.
Cape Cod down there, West Coast League too.
That's
you know,
right.
some of the higher end leagues.
That's right.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, if the message from me and him, go watch a summer ball game.
Watch summer ball and play summer ball.
Yes. Yep. You don't get that opportunity so much. So we'll backpack off that. Favorite place to travel inside the conference can be Viterbo and it can be Waldorf. We went to Waldorf way too much because of weather. But yeah, your favorite fields. I'll say right now, my pick. I'm gonna give him my pick too because I feel like
yeah. Let's hear it.
I would say I really enjoyed the one time we traveled to Viterbo. La Crosse, Wisconsin is a very cool town.
Yes, and I will say that Viterbo's field is very nice.
Very nice.
That whole greens that they have on their fence.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it makes the place feel not even like older, but like a realer ballpark than just it's a chain link fence or
like the bit of the hedge around.
Yeah,
and you hit it over the hedge like twice. that was good stuff. So yeah, Viterbo would be my pick. What do you got for your pick? It's a small conference, but like, you know,
I might have to say yeah. I mean, Chuck Brown it's a pretty good field.
Yes, it is.
When the weather's nice, it's a good field.
I agree.
I think everybody would say like their favorite field's their home field. So
100%.
under Chuck.
Yep.
Ah, man. See, Waldorf kind of holds.
Yes.
I mean, that turf infield is nice too.
Yes.
I never really had problems in the outfield.
Mm-hmm.
The cool fences, you know, you got to hit it.
Yes.
You got to hit it. Like, the ball's not just going to go.
Yep.
Granted, it is windy a lot of the times you go there.
In Iowa.
In Iowa, yes. But no, I think we did have a lot of exciting games there over the years.
I like that pick.
So I'm going to go there.
Okay. I like that pick a lot. Yeah, you know, it's one of the coolest things to me is seeing a new field.
Yeah.
I love just like, oh my God. Like, you can look at it on the internet. I don't know. This might just be a baseball thing, but I don't know if any other athletes go and look on Google Images of, like, you know, where they're going to go play.
Right.
I know I used to that for hockey sometimes, look at the rink, but I know for baseball, it's always like, I'm so excited to see a new field.
It's a lot more bigger.
Yeah. And it, you know, sometimes the dimensions can affect the game. You know, we go to Dakota State launch pad.
Yeah.
We're going there again this year.
Mm-hmm.
You go to, you know, 30 minutes down the road, Jamestown, launch pad.
Yeah.
I don't think we go there this year.
I think they come here.
Yep,
I'm pretty
that's
sure
right, which is going to be a good series. So you better get out to Chuck Brown.
Better come out for Chuck.
But yeah, no, but I'm with you. Chuck Brown, I love that field. It's my favorite field in the conference.
The new addition to our clubhouse too. I mean,
no one has a clubhouse like us. No one has a clubhouse like us.
You heard it here first.
Yep, they don't. And yeah, we're extremely thankful for that clubhouse. And you know, all the things, you know, even a batting cage was our freshman year.
Yeah.
First year that they had another one.
Turfed.
But it was rubber.
Yep.
So, you know, there's so many additions and we always have our Gratian Club up. Extremely thankful for the facilities. We got great facilities here at VCSU. Let's pivot a bit here. Got some fun questions for you.
All right.
I'm going to go in not the same order I put them down in. This is kind of going all together with what I just asked you. I put this in a fun question. Could be a baseball question too. Yeah. Favorite baseball park that you've ever played at? Ever.
Ever.
Can be high school, can be college, summer ball. Does not matter. Favorite park that you've set foot on?
I'm going to have to say Kendrick Legion in Helena, Montana.
And I think you took me around to that.
Yep. So used to be the host of the Pioneer League Helena Brewers, who were not directly affiliated with the Milwaukee Brewers. But I was a bat boy for them when I was young. I think I was middle school. You know, dreams of playing on that field when I'm older. And for that to be my high school home field, I don't think the stars could have aligned more. And, you know, my senior year, we had such a good year as a baseball team. that, I mean, I honestly don't know if we lost a game
Mm-hmm.
at Kendrick. Maybe one. But I know we won the Key Cell there, which is our local tournament.
Mm-hmm.
We won a lot of the tournaments we played in that year. But, I mean, bringing that whole thing together as a community, you see how many people come and support you.
Mm-hmm.
That Kendrick holds a special place in my heart for sure.
Yep.
And then you go up the road to Great Falls, and they have the Great Falls Voyagers. They're in the Pioneer League as well. That's where we won state my senior year, and that park is unbelievable too.
So you're out of the two.
I'm picking Kendrick, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the sentimental value.
I mean, just the sunset of Mount Helena, and when the lights come on, man. Burgers and dogs on the grill.
Yeah, come on, God.
After that win, you're getting a burger too from the moms. Oh yeah, and dads.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, you're making me want to play now. Just setting it up, and yeah, those are the best nights. I know, college baseball is phenomenal. It's so much fun, but you look back at some of those high school baseball memories when it was just, you go to your local field for the 4-game set, and you're just the tents are up, and the parents are just, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Next question. It's not really a question. A little known fact about you. What would you say is something that a lot of people don't know about you?
Known fact.
Something that the people might not know.
I'm a pretty open person. Might not know. I don't know. How far should I go? What are we thinking here?
I don't know. A lot of people talk about hobbies.
Okay, hobbies. Yeah. I mean, I love to hunt and fish. Montana has great outdoor experiences for pretty much anything that you want to get into. Skiing. I love to ski. Haven't got to do that very much. In high school, it was always trying to bounce around with basketball and coach doesn't want you to get hurt, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not going to say that I didn't go to the mountain coach day. I'm sorry, but we did.
Okay, well, I like that one, skiing, because I enjoy it too. And
yeah.
I'm a hockey guy.
Oh, yeah.
But here's my hot take.
Okay.
I would never get on a pair of skates again if you told me to pick between you can't ski ever again or can't skate, I would never skate again.
Really?
Skiing is so much fun.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah, I love to ski. Yeah, and again, same reason you can't.
Right.
You don't want to get hurt.
Yeah.
And it's an extreme,
it is. No.
You go on the real mountains, not just the man, and it's it gets you're skiing over rocks essentially. Moguls.
Some places for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. No skiing.
I think skiing. Yeah.
I didn't think you'd be a skiing guy. I thought skiing over snowboarding or skiing.
So when I was growing up, I was taught to ski, and then I did snowboarding for 2 or 3 years, straight back to skiing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So I have done both.
Okay.
But I do say I love skiing.
Yeah.
A lot more than snowboarding.
Interesting.
You don't got to put your binding on after you get off the lift, man.
Yeah.
It's just, I feel like I can go a little faster too when I ski. It's a
true.
It's a little less. I think tedious might be the word. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a little less tedious.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, the binding. You see the snowboarders all the time. Sometimes they have to walk with their thing, but you can just ski essentially anywhere you want to go, to the lift, to the chair.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun. Interesting skiing. All right. Well, maybe something we can do after college together.
Let's do it.
And then I have one more fun one. I don't know how. I'll tell you what. We've had one answer that has been echoed throughout this podcast, and I asked this to everyone: your favorite restaurant in Valley City.
Favorite restaurant. So, little throwback here.
All right. Oh, come on. Yes.
The Viking Room.
Yes.
And I miss it so much.
I know.
The Vikinator.
Yep.
Every weekend. I'm saying every weekend.
I'm right there.
You could not get a better meal in this town for that price.
I'm right there with you.
And I am such a breakfast person. It doesn't matter what time of day it is. Yep. Viking Room, Vikinator. Give it to me.
That is oh my gosh. They had the breakfast. I mean, that was, we only had that freshman and a little bit of sophomore year.
Right.
And it feels like so long ago, but oh my gosh. Yep. No, I am 100% with you. I love that answer so much.
Active though. Active.
Yeah.
Should I do an active one too?
I love the throwback.
Okay.
Absolutely. Perfect content
that
for the
one's
podcast.
number one.
Yes.
For sure.
But active?
New Mexican joint. El Valle. El Valle.
El Valle, yep.
El Valle.
That's the one that's
I
been
like
the
to say
popular
El
one.
Valley just because, Valley City,
Yep.
but it's got to be El Valley.
Yep. No, that's the one that's
The
been.
asada fries, man.
Yeah, they're good.
And I mean, just a good Mexican place overall around,
All you can eat
in
salsa,
town.
so good.
Definitely.
I don't
Definitely
know.
pay yourself a visit if you haven't.
Yeah. And I don't know what our thing is. I don't know what we can promote or not on this podcast. But we're a VCSU podcast. You know what? We're not
Oh no,
I'm
I'm not promoting or demoting anything here.
That's
they
more
got
for
good
me.
food, man.
Keep
they
me
got
out of
good
legal
food.
trouble.
Yeah, there you
they're
go.
so
There you
good.
go.
And we actually have a lot of good restaurants here, and
Oh yeah.
for a small town.
100%.
But no, great answer. Yeah, Viking room. What a throwback.
Viking room,
gosh,
man. The Vikinator.
Yep, that's the best place. I honestly think I remember the price was $12.95.
I think
I'm
it
pretty
was
sure.
it was lower than 15. I'll tell you that much. And that plate was my
Load it
goodness.
up, and you got pancakes on the side. Take those home after. Come on, that was so good. Let's kind of get into the end here of the podcast. I'll ask you a couple more questions. I know you've kind of been, we've talked about this, a little bit, and we're starting to get into that time where these are becoming all more important. What do you plan to do after college? Where are we going to see Judson Seliskar?
I think within the next year, I have looked into grad school opportunities. Master's in business administration is up there. I also looked into going to law school too, for sure. Those are two definite possibilities. But right now I'm really trying to focus on the moment. My last semester here at school.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's going to be over before I know it. I mean, that's just the cold-hearted truth.
Mm-hmm.
Friends will be missed, but not gone forever. And I think focusing right now on my last season of baseball, last memories here in Valley City, it's definitely at the top of my priority. But I think residing in Montana probably next year would be a pretty smart answer for me to say.
Mm-hmm.
Where that is, I'm not sure. Whether that's going to school or looking at potential job opportunities, but more on the business side for sure. I don't really plan on opening any other doors other than dealing with the dollar bill. But and I'm not saying law isn't a closed door at all, because that's something that I am very interested in. Have been, growing up through this society, through the American society. It's definitely opened my eyes for other passageways for sure.
Right on. Love that answer. And yeah, of course, can't forget, live in the moment.
Yeah.
We're all looking forward to so many things. And, 2 months ago was looking forward to the season. Now the season's here.
Right.
And, you're now going to get some of these opportunities back. So I love how you mentioned that. Something that certainly we all do take for granted sometimes. You talk about, even going back to when you're talking about U.S. Bank.
Yeah.
You never know when the last time you're going to, or the only time you're going to have this opportunity is. So, yeah, really, really good to mention that. And finally, I'd love for you to just give, you've been here for 3.5 years. I asked this to every student that's really on the podcast. I'm going to ask you in a more specific way. Usually I would just ask what you'd say to a prospective VCSU student.
Okay.
But I want you to really dial in. What would you say to a prospective VCSU baseball player? North Dakota, not necessarily known for baseball, not known for, you're in the cold. It's a tough environment to play ball in. You see these teams down south that are already practicing outside 65, 70 degrees. What's your sales pitch for baseball at Valley City State University?
I think for me, coming from Montana, this place was home day one. Not necessarily even learning how to grow up quick, because you have kids that are older like us now, helping our younger peers, classmates, teammates. This place has always felt like a family to me. And even with CO and Cal, it was a family. And now with the team and culture that we've created over the past 2 years, I can't say that this isn't one of the tightest and closest teams that I've been a part of. You get the coaching from me being a position player. I'm getting the coaching from JT. I'm getting everything out of it that I put into it. And, coming here was a blessing, but I think it also is helping me reach my end goal, and whatever that may be. Whether that is, I'm not saying everybody on this roster is going to be able to go play at the next level.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, some people have more skill set right now than others. But I mean, if that is one of my dreams, I can firmly believe and say that, you know, coming here, being here, creating the connections that I have created, putting the work in, you know, I think that could safely be said, like, okay, there's a shot or there's always going to be an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And I think me taking a chance here, and for anybody, you know, don't take VCSU as being an under like the radar kind of school.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've had more talent on these teams in 4 years than I could have ever imagined.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, go back to my recruiting pitch, and you're like, okay, this guy reaches out. Like maybe VCSU is going to be on a couple guys like top lists,
Mm-hmm.
like right when they reach out, you know,
Mm-hmm.
in a couple years. But no, I think the word family, respect, you know, that those two are top of my list, A grade for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Love that answer. Certainly some of the tightest teams I've ever been on,
Yeah.
win or lose, you know, in the grand scheme, it doesn't matter as much as that family and that aspect of, like, we're together on this. We're absolutely, you know, bought in for each other. And yeah, I think that's a great pitch to someone who wants to come play baseball here. This is a family, and you're going to be treated like family here.
Yep.
You know, coaching is honest. You know, you talk about as a position player being able to work with JT, the hitting side, just you know, the mind part of hitting.
Mm-hmm.
You don't necessarily think about that, but yeah, no, I love the pitch, and certainly would echo that what you just said for any perspective of VCSU baseball players. Judd, any final thoughts before we wrap this up? I know we got Team D in an hour. I still got to eat because I was just at weights.
I might need to go get some dinner as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Team D and then Hit Tracks games, I think. Yeah.
We'll be busy tonight, but we decided to squeeze this podcast in. Got to get it up Tuesday. Come on. You know I'm going to get it up. Judd, any final thoughts before we say so long?
No, I think I'm all good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
appreciate
Judd,
it.
Thank you for coming on.
It's been a ride, man.
Absolutely. You know what?
Job's not finished though.
No. You know what? We're just starting up. 2-0 to start. Obviously, been great to get to know you over 3.5 years, and lucky
Same
to know
with
you.
man.
Lucky to have you as a friend, and you know, as a brother. So
yeah,
Judd,
100%.
thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you so much.
This has been episode 13 of the podcast, and we say so long.
Thank you.